Thanks for joining us today. I am Christine Doherty, Senior Vice President, Managing Director at Mower. For those of you who don't know Mower, we are a digitally integrated independent marketing, advertising, and PR agency. We have 9 offices spanning the East Coast. Something we're real proud of. We are actually the only full-service agency ranked in Ad Age, B2B marketing, PR Week, and Chief Marketer. So something we're real proud of. We're glad to have you joining our second session of Doing More with Less, our webinar series of 4. During this challenging time, we've been hearing from a lot of our clients that we're just pressured to do more with smaller budgets. So we decided to come up with this webinar series to help with some tips and tricks to help you on that journey during this challenging time and moving forward. We have 2 upcoming seminars. We're going to put them up at the end again. Hopefully you'll be getting the emails, but the next one is June 10th, 10 Ways Success Planning Drives Efficiency. And then June 24th is How Good Insights Make Great Creative. So I encourage you we can't hear you or see you in this webinar, Zoom webinar, but I can read your questions. So I encourage you to put your questions in the Q&A and I can read it to Matt and Crystalline. So I have Matt and Crystalline with me today. Matt Babiars is a senior digital strategist at Mower. He has over 15 years of experience in both B2B and B2C. Before joining Mower, he spent a decade working in content, entertainment, video game marketing, and experiential technologies. He's worked for and with brands like Hot Wheels, Curious George, Wayfair, among others. At Mower, Matt really brings us that vision, direction, acceleration, both to me as an AM and our clients. Also joining us today is Crystalline. She is a paid search and paid social strategist at Mower. She has over 20 years of experience in marketing, business process management, and the digital consumer experience. She has led marketing initiatives for brands like Assurance Financial Group, Anthem, ABB, Wells Fargo, eBay, Dell EMC, National Grid, Staples, and I could go on and on. Crystalline is also a frequent keynote speaker at UC Berkeley, something to be pretty proud of. She developed a course outline focused on the introduction of new technologies and strategic marketing development for emerging markets. She was also recently recognized by the Technology Association of Georgia as a finalist for Marketing Innovator of the Year. This is for her work to integrate machine learning, artificial intelligence, and audience segmentation within digital marketing and the digital consumer journey. So Matt and Crystalline, please take it away.
Great, so today we're
Thank you.
to paid social media and what you can do to get the maximum impact on your investment. And you might be feeling the pressure as CMOs across B2B and B2C are planning to double their budgets over the next 5 years. So 2 weeks ago, we covered organic social media. The webinar is available in the chat. And in that session, we talked about how you can content plan for your cadence, the best possible content to get brand advocacy out of your organic social media. And today we're talking about paid, where you can really drive a specific marketing result. So with paid social media, it's all about the right content to the right audience at the right time. And Crystalline, there's a lot you can do in terms of personalization and generating demand.
Yes, that's right, Matt. Actually, amplification, personalization, and segmentation are the key components that make paid work harder for you. We have the ability to do a lot of detailed audience targeting, and detailed targeting also means detailed tracking regarding engagement. So it's a really strong platform for anything that's driving conversions or deeper and richer audience insights.
That's right. And before we jump into the tactics, let's just get a quick lay of the land. This looks at monthly active users across all of the social media platforms, all the key players, and the average engagement in terms of daily time spent. As you can see, Facebook is still king with over 250 million users in the US spending 58 minutes a day. LinkedIn has 111 million users and they spend about 10 minutes a day. And then a few to watch out for or keep in mind: Pinterest, Snapchat, TikTok. TikTok has recently grown almost 100% over the last 6 months. So it's coming on real strong and the engagement's really strong. And then Twitter is still in the game. The engagement's lower, but they're still relevant, especially when it comes to news, media, and sports. Okay, so now that we have an understanding of what they look like in terms of size and engagement, this chart takes a look at ad performance across these various platforms and where they fall in terms of click-through rate and cost per impression. So the way to read this chart is along the side here on the left, the least expensive cost per impression to the most expensive, and then across the top, you're looking at effective. And you know, I think what really stands out here to me is LinkedIn and Instagram, very competitive space, relatively expensive, but still a lot that can be gained from posting ads to those channels. And then Facebook's still holding strong with a very reasonable cost and still really good reach and results. So Crystal, what stands out to you?
Well, one of the things that is so apparent in this chart, Matt, is that Facebook and Google AdWords and ad advertising on that network is the two legacy leader platforms. In fact, that accounts for about 90% of your market will be on one of those two platforms if you combine them. We call it the duopoly in the paid media game. We call it's the marriage of a social and a search combination advertising, and as long as you're in those two particular channels, you're probably having a chance of hitting about 90% of your addressable audience at some point.
Yep. And although LinkedIn is very competitive, you might want to consider Twitter for reaching people in professional services. There's still some great results to be had there. And before you close the door on LinkedIn overall, InMail, a tactic that we're going to cover today, is very effective.
We've seen extremely high engagement with that particular platform.
Yeah, and we've captured it here. So, you know, we kind of boiled down all of the information on that last chart across the different objectives that you might be reaching for, the platforms that you can utilize, along with the cost that you could expect. So this is a handy little cheat sheet for planning your budgets and planning your campaigns. But still,
one of the things that really stands out here as well is the click-through rates and the cost per click. They're very, very close on all of the platforms in a certain range, except for Instagram has a much smaller click-through rate and LinkedIn has a much higher click-through rate. Keep in mind, this is for the in-feed advertisement. There's multiple different types of ad types within these platforms, and we can manipulate what type of objective we're trying to achieve as far as cost and click-through rate and match it to audiences. So this is a very good standard, though, for picking your first pass at a platform.
Yeah. So diving deeper into Facebook ads and looking at performance across industries, not a lot of surprises here. I think a lot of tech, retail, apparel, and travel companies are utilizing Facebook for advertising. But a couple of things that stand out to me, Crystal Lynn, is B2B surprisingly effective on Facebook for a specific type of campaign.
And it's really interesting that you bring that up, Matt, because we really do have a lot of our B2B customers come to us with very little historical experience on being in social advertising. This is more of a new platform to reach their customer, and we've really seen an acceleration in their interest. And once they have a test program and market and they see the conversion rate that they achieve, it's been very cost effective, and it's definitely a place where any B2B player needs to be when they're trying to develop a relationship with their customer and cultivate and nurture existing partnerships that they have.
Yeah, so great place to build a brand. And B2B, it's not just LinkedIn. And on this chart, what we have here is the cost per click running around the side, and then the conversion rate running along the bottom, just to give you a sense of what you could expect as you march into your campaign across these different industries. So now that we have a lay of the land, we're beginning to understand what the social media landscape looks like. How can we build a campaign that's really supercharged and get a maximum impact and return on an investment? So what we're going to cover today is a blueprint that you can use to maximize the opportunity, leveraging the most effective ad types that we've seen. We're going to walk you through a direct messaging tactic that's LinkedIn InMail that we found to be 3 times as effective as email. We're going to show you how you can uncover powerful insights about your audience that you can use to create content that aligns to their interests and start to personalize your messaging to get a better impact on the content that you're putting out there.
Hey, Matt.
Yep.
I'm going to interrupt you really quickly. There's a gray box. We're all seeing a gray box. Can you just move your participant list off that main screen?
Yep.
There's one at the top too. Still there.
Okay. Better now?
Yeah, better. Thanks.
Great. So we're going to jump into this campaign blueprint. And this is looking across the social media platforms that we were discussing earlier. And we've identified what we consider to be the most effective ad types for driving your campaign. And the way to kind of look at this is we're starting with building brand awareness and then moving through engagement, driving conversion. And this is a campaign that works across Facebook, Instagram, and then we have a program specifically designed for LinkedIn. So first on the Facebook, Instagram side, video ads we found to be very effective. Crystalline, I don't know if you have any results that you could share, but some of the research that I've looked at suggests that video ads can be 5 times more effective than single image ads, and it works well across both desktop and mobile.
What we find is that video ads should not intimidate the novice social media advertiser. Video can be an animated GIF, or it can be a full production video that includes photography, real life, photo shoots and video of individuals. These generally have an engagement that is 3 to 5 times that. Sometimes we even see 7 times more engagement with this particular type of ad type compared to a still ad. One of the things that's really great about this, especially for the B2B advertiser, is the fact that we're trying to develop a relational component with our audience. And so we have more of a dynamic and experiential feel with the motion and sound that is presented in video. So it helps to humanize the brand and becomes very relational.
And so from this video ad, we're going to click through to an instant experience. And I'm so hot on instant experiences right now. It's a specific experience, and it's kind of like having a landing page living natively within Facebook. So it's going to load much faster than taking someone out of the platform and directing them to a mobile website.
And one of the things that's really nice is, as Matt said, it's mobilely optimized. You don't have to work with a development team to deploy it. You don't have to work within maybe some restrictive infrastructure within your existing corporate website in order to launch an ad. It's something that can be completely developed and is nurtured and technically maintained within the Facebook platform, who spends billions of dollars a year ensuring that everything translates well across all mobile devices. So we get to leverage all of that work they've done to make sure it's a great experience for your end user.
Yeah, and one of the things we're thinking here is remarketing. So if you've experienced the video ad, if you even opened up the instant experience, but yet to have it taken action, what we can do is actually come back and remarket and come back and deliver an ad that sends you to an instant form. And the Facebook instant form is a great solution for lead generation. The form is pre-filled out with some key information, and there's 2 paths that you can choose from. There's a volume path where you can try to get the most people to have an entry, so it's very limited, streamlined, or there's an intent path where you can ask a qualifying question to get a better sense of the person on the other end filling out the form. Now on the LinkedIn side, like we talked about, InMail, it's a great way to get in touch with your target audience. And the way this works is it's a direct message that comes in the same mailbox that they receive all their other messages. So, Crystalline, what's the cadence like? Is this like an email blast?
No, that's what's so beautiful about this particular delivery method. InMails are only delivered to the audience member at the time in which you're active on LinkedIn. So anytime you incur a cost, it's for a real live human being receiving your message during a time in which you're active, instead of going to dead, unused, untapped email boxes like what we traditionally would find as one of the drawbacks of doing traditional email blasts. So we have people who have right-sized, real-time qualifications to match our target audience profile. So that is an up-to-date LinkedIn profile that is delivered a message in a real-time basis when they're active on the platform.
That's great. And so here again, we're remarketing. So after someone's received that message, we're going to come back and use that same ad that we had on Facebook in terms of video and place that again within their feed. So if we didn't get them to take the call to action in the email, in their feed, we come back up again. And both these pieces can lead to a lead gen form within LinkedIn. And it's kind of the same story on Facebook. These are pre-filled out and really easy to complete.
We see a lower attrition rate. Generally, when people are confronted with a lead generation form, giving up their information is not only something they consider, but it's also a component of, I have to take time to use my thumbs and type something in. The convenience factor of the instant forms that are hosted on these platforms is the platform will pre-fill the email address you use for that platform, as well as your first name, last name, and in LinkedIn's case, your company name or a couple other things that may be there. So there's a lower barrier to form completion since it's much easier. There's less forms to fill. It's not zero forms to fill. You can elect to just choose a name and an email address. It's auto-filled, and just select that and put that into your nurturing funnel for remarketing.
So here we have a campaign, whether you're building your brand, trying to drive conversion, there's something for everyone in this. And, you know, I think what we found is these tend to be the most effective ad types across platforms. So let's take a closer look at these instant experience ads. And these might be new to some. They are an evolution of the Canvas ads that Facebook launched a few years ago. And the first example we're going to look at is storefront. So if you're on the B2C side and you integrate your catalog into Facebook, you can actually drive purchases directly from Facebook. And again, remember, this page is going to load like 15 times faster than a mobile website. So, you know, there is a tendency for people to drop off when they leave the site. And this is a great way to alleviate that. Another version is called storytelling. And these are all templates that are filled out. So all you have to do is put your content within these templates. No developer required, no coding, no design. So it's very easy to get started. And this example, they're starting from that video ad like we talked about and then opening up this instant experience. And the instant experience is kind of like expanding the ad. The other interesting thing, Crystalline, is you can have carousels within here that link to different landing pages or different instant experiences.
Yes, we really like to utilize this for people who have a multifunctional relationship that they want to put together for the client, one that may involve an immediate service, one that may involve more of a learning mode still, so they may want to go and download some more content. Another one, may just involve the ability to make an direct, contact via email. So the ability to have several call to actions and landing pages from one ad is really powerful.
Yeah, and I think the interesting thing too is because there's not an SEO requirement, you can do a very custom design within this page, something you probably wouldn't be able to do just on a mobile website on its own. And we'll take a look at the form, so just to give you a sense of how that works. And this is that volume form where it's a really quick fill out. So very effective for driving conversion. So you can see that's it. So another powerful tool, Crystalline, is Audience Insights. And this is a great tool for multiple reasons. One, you can really drill into these 2.5 billion users on Facebook and get a better sense of who they are as a person. And this can also be helpful in the creative process when you're creating your personas. So you can start to dive into not only the demographic, but the psychographics.
This is something that we really diligently nurture within all of our campaigns through Mower. Our customers utilize this type of information to understand new market entry, conquest strategies for certain geographies that they're looking to really own, and understand what the demographic it is that they're really speaking to as they go from new city or new region to new region. And this is a very useful tool for not only launching the campaign, but also tracking against in the campaign to understand what messaging really resonates with these particular audience members.
Yeah, so you can see here in this demonstration, I'm trying to identify marketing decision makers in New York City. And what it's revealing to me is the pages that they're more likely to like than a typical Facebook user. And then you'll see additionally, we can hone in on the activity that they're into, which would be, do they click ads more than the typical Facebook user? And then device. So we can understand, hey, is this someone that's more on the mobile app or are they using desktop and mobile? So it helps you in terms of figuring out your creative placements. Then at the end, you can save this and it's ready for you in Ad Manager to program an ad. So it's a great way to explore the audience and get a sense of what, not only the demographic, but the psychographic as well. Powerful stuff. So, Facebook and Insights overall gives you a sense of what media they're into, what their tastes are like from a media perspective, what channels they're watching. So this could help inform an integration on the PR side, and then also maybe even brand partnerships. So if you're targeting a specific type of person in a specific type of location, this can help really across your marketing campaigns, across your PR campaigns, all your efforts to get in front of them and put something that's really engaging and interesting.
What's really unique about this is it's one of the few places where you can make your digital advertising dollars really work harder for you and develop a digital persona. So one place that we've actually had the opportunity to utilize this is with an organization called Iroquois Healthcare Association. They're a regional healthcare collaborative. And what you're seeing right now is a campaign that we were recently awarded 3 different marketing awards for healthcare advertising. One of the things that was really unique about this was it was a very tightly integrated campaign where we had multiple types of media in market that were driven to a landing page and allowed us through social, digital, and landing page data collection, we were able to actually monitor and adjust our social spending, our media buys, and our messaging to 6 key regional areas where they were trying to really encourage and broaden their recruitment efforts for new employees within their member organizations. It has been something that has continually evolved and has become more enriched with the digital and audience insights that we employed in our creative process, our media spend and pacing, and our additional platform engagement.
So a great example of utilizing these audience insights to actually plan your media, not only within Facebook advertising, but across all different types of media.
Mm-hmm.
And here's another example that was a little more sophisticated.
This is a little different because what we did is we took some third-party data and looked at it against some customer data. This is with a customer that we have called National Grid. They had a very effective campaign in 2019 for encouraging rebate redemption on home appliances for customers in their service areas. We looked at the places where there was success and we noticed that there was pockets of success, which you can see in the map on the left side. We took that and contrasted it to some general market data regarding home sales volume, which is the map on the right side, and identified that they were almost identical. So in order to address this market trend of individuals purchasing appliances in the same volume in which home sales transactions were happening, we created a new ad set for 2020 to help add to their already effective campaign and capture more of that niche audience and address them at their conversion point.
That's awesome. And my takeaway here is, demographics are kind of old school. Getting a sense of the psychographic side, why people are doing certain behaviors, their tastes, interests, is a much more sophisticated way, and it looks like cost-effective way to get in touch with them, target them, and place media in the right place.
And this is specifically about how we utilize near-side audience behavior. When we were talking about psychographic and other additional insights, we worked with a large health insurer to identify some near-side behavior with people who were converting the most. And then we started to actually adjust our spend to target more of the people, not based on their primary behavior, but their secondary near-side behavior. This type of insight really helped us lower their acquisition cost per customer while still exceeding their customer goals for acquisition in 2019. We had a very high level of engagement, almost 500% more through some of our secondary behaviors than just our primary.
So audience insights, it's not only going to make the campaign overall more cost effective, it's going to make it more effective overall because the click-through rate is going to jump as you're really honing in on who this audience is. So now we're going to take a look at LinkedIn InMail. And this is just a quick demo to show you kind of what it looks like. So you'll see the message appears in the messaging box with all the other messages that the user is receiving. And with LinkedIn InMail, I think it's really important to have a short message that's snappy and gets their attention. Sometimes I receive messages that are just way too much information. I'm not going to make it all the way through. And as you can see, this form is really easy to fill out. It seems like it's really easy to get a conversion. And one other thing I'll point out, Crystalline, is you can actually have a banner that supports the message right along the right column.
Exactly.
So lots of targeting options for these InMails.
We have a lot of different ways to really take your message to the right audience at the right time here. We can do a very specific account-based marketing effort by focusing on companies. We can also do industry, job title, function, and seniority. There's a lot of levers we can pull here that aren't available on some of the other platforms that we find to be very effective for that B2B long relationship engagement process. When you have an engagement that takes over 6 months, before there's a conversion to a new account sell, we highly recommend utilizing the LinkedIn platform.
Then the open rates are kind of off the charts, especially compared to your traditional email.
Oh yeah, they're fantastic. We see somewhere between 35 and 55% open rates for our LinkedIn InMail advertisers. Contrast that to your typical 16 to 18% open rate for a traditional email. And keep in mind, there's a different type of acquisition cost for an email list than what there is for advertising. So that's not even including that particular acquisition factor cost being factored in. So we see a very great level of efficiency on this particular platform.
That's awesome. So kind of final thoughts here. We have a blueprint. We think it's going to help drive maximum ROI. Utilizing the best of the best across Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. I think we believe deeply in this LinkedIn InMail to help drive leads and get people to convert, filling out forms, getting in touch with the right people, especially for B2B companies that are really niche, targeting a specific audience. And then we talked about how you can use audience insights to not only make campaigns more cost effective, make them more effective overall. And it's an ongoing thing. It just doesn't happen out of the box. It kind of takes a little bit of learning, going back and refining your approach. So Crystalline, we have a special campaign canvas that we're offering to people that, all you need to do is drop your email in the chat and we'll send this out to you. And could you kind of walk us through how this tool works?
Yes, this is something that we use here at Mower for briefing our stakeholders and our creative team in regards to like any new social media campaign. We go through each particular box, we define our audience, our goals, our customer journey, where are we at in the stage, and what are the primary drivers for the customers we're speaking to in this campaign. Value proposition should align to your primary, secondary, and tertiary markets. Content, topic, and tone is key to helping your creative team understand if you want people to be excited, informed, inspired. What is your primary goal? And then what we have on the right-hand side is really kind of a cheat sheet of the options that are available. And then we encourage you to highlight or bold which options need to be developed for this particular campaign. We have different formats that we have for every single channel. Most of our channels have up to 15 different types of ad formats. So it's really important to understand which ad format best maps with the value proposition and where the customer is in their particular journey for the sales process. So communicating all of that and being on the same page with all of your stakeholders is a really good, strong foundation to start from.
So if you're interested in this, and I know we had a little bit of a technical difficulty before, so a few of those charts that we looked at, if you're interested, drop your email address in the chat and we'll send that out to you via PDF. So we're getting ready, just about to take questions here, but I wanted to let you know that we still have 2 more webinars coming up, as Christine alluded to earlier on the call. June 10th, we're looking at 10 ways success planning can drive efficiency. And this is really keying in on measurement so you can really understand the results behind your campaign. And then on June 24th, how good insights make great creative. So this is all about taking all of that data, learnings, and understanding, and then translating that into content and creative that is ultimately really effective. So
Great.
that's the presentation today. And we'll pause for questions.
Yeah, thanks, Matt and Crystal, and really great content. I know we're right at 1:30, so we may lose a couple people, but we're going to stay on and answer questions. So feel free to stay on and send me your messages. We do have some. First one up, what are the open rates of LinkedIn now?
LinkedIn and Mel, we usually are seeing an open rate between 35 to 55% depending on your audience. Different industries have different frequency of activity on the platform, but it's between 35 and 55% for mowers campaigns that we've managed.
Okay. Have you seen a shift in the marketing channel's ROI during the current landscape of COVID-19?
We dramatically have seen a shift. We have dramatically seen a shift in the ROI. We have found that Facebook is producing a much lower cost per click than usual. We definitely have seen that LinkedIn has had less in-stream content and more personalized content being the most effective route for connecting. We are absolutely seeing an uptick close to 45% on Twitter engagement.
Okay. What are some of the top social media management tools?
That's a good question. It depends on which part of the social media management process you're looking to address. We use an array of tools. Social reputation management is very well being handled by social listening tools and that also can execute, which is Sprout, Sprinkler, Hootsuite, Bird Eye, Social Bakers is another one. We also utilize certain tools for actual analytics management, such as TapClicks, Datarama. We also utilize AdStage, WordStream, and SEMrush for helping to manage the focus of what our objectives are and what the best bidding practices may be.
Great. Okay, next up. I'm in a boring industry. Do I still need social media?
Yes. I think there's a lot that can be done, especially, it depends on what your objective is. So if your objective is to drive conversions, leads, and sales, and you're singularly focused, I think LinkedIn is a great solution on the B2B side. But Crystal and I were talking yesterday just about how, Facebook can be a place utilizing those instant experiences to start to tell your story. And I think one of the things we noticed on that industry chart was industrial services really struggling on Facebook. Tends to be a little bit more expensive to run ads, get clicks, and really not getting the same results as other industries. So I think it really comes down to content and making your content more engaging, trying to tell your story in a way that resonates with the audience. Kristlyn, would you add anything to that?
I would say that everybody does business with a B2B participant also as a human. B2B individuals make high investment into relationships with their partners, so they like to understand thought leadership and sustainability stories, leadership stories, innovation stories that are best communicated in really dynamic mediums like social, advertising. And I think that those relationships are nurtured and through very dynamic communication styles. I think that the advertising for what we consider the flashy industries, such as that $100 pair of kicks and tennis shoes that you have, those can be discarded within 6 months for another new pair. So I think that the investment that's made in humanizing brands on social is incredibly important to customer retention as well as customer acquisition.
And I think one of the things I've learned recently is that B2B final decision makers, about 80% said that their final decision was actually an emotional one, meaning that they had two choices, very similar offering, and they ended up going with the one they just felt better about. On the flip side, 25% of B2B companies reported that they don't know how to emotionally connect with their customer, or they didn't have a plan for that. So if you're able to figure that out, you have a competitive advantage against a lot of the field. So I think content is actually a great way to do that. And social media, especially on the paid side, is a great way to get the reach and get people and the engagement to get that message out there. So I think even for boring companies in industrial industries, there's a tremendous opportunity to emotionally connect with your customers. And as Crystal said, connect with them not only as a prospect, but as a human.
Yeah, good point, Matt. Our next question is, what are your thoughts on conversation ads on LinkedIn? Would you suggest using them?
Conversation ads on LinkedIn has just recently been released. It has a beta advertising product. Not all organizations even have access to utilize them as an advertising medium yet. I absolutely love them because they allow you to take more of a journey with your customer. There's multiple outcomes. Conversation ads allow you to present more than one call to action. So there's an ability to speak to someone instead of having your traditional, if you're interested, learn more, click here, one point in which you can engage. There's multiple points that you can engage. You can present a learn more, you can present call now, you can present view our video. You know, there's multiple ways, and we all have customers we're reaching out to who are in different points of their customer journey, and understanding what that customer journey point is by also being able to map it with those 3 CTAs is not only creating a better experience for your customer, but a greater wealth of information for your organization that can help inform other marketing activities as well.
Great. Okay, this is another for B2B question. How and when would you mix the two, LinkedIn and Facebook efforts for B2B?
Well, Crystal, I think it goes back to kind of the blueprint that we presented. And in terms of mixing it, Facebook is going to be great for brand building, raising awareness. LinkedIn as well, but it's going to be a little bit more expensive to run. The reach is not going to be as great. LinkedIn is a great way to directly message and try to drive conversions and leads. And our suggestion was to remarket from there. So I think Facebook and Instagram, Crystal, correct me if I'm wrong, great place to build the brand. And LinkedIn is a great place to drive conversion.
I agree. And I think that every brand has a story that's important to the marketplace, whether it's a story of innovation, thought leadership, employee support, you know, sustainability or community involvement. That story sometimes is better fit for Facebook. And then the components of product, service, technology, partnership, distribution, that's a really good story for LinkedIn.
Okay, another question going back to the social media reporting tools. They're asking how they compared what you were talking about with Meltwater, because covering social media monitoring as well as social media reporting together.
All of the tools have some variants of being able to monitor and report. It depends on how deep you want the analytics to run within one tool. I think Meltwater is pretty comparable to Sprinkler. I think it's a strong tool. I think that some of the insights that you could derive from using a richer, separate analytics tool that will let you look at data sliced into deeper microsegments are better than trying to have a one-size-fits-all solution.
Yeah, and I think LinkedIn itself actually has a lot of great data within the admin tool. They present a lot of good competitive data, so you can compare how you're performing against some of the other companies in your space. And within Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, even TikTok, there's a tool called Flanks. It's really easy to get a competitive read with that tool. It's free to use. Of course, you get more access if you're a paying member, but it's an open tool for competitive analysis that I really like. And another one that's great for competitive analysis, Falcon, is another option there. There's a lot of similar tools in terms of planning the content, staging it, and then getting a sense of social listening.
Okay. Another one is, what is the key driver for high conversion rate? We're marketing, observing the audience, refining personalization, dynamic display ads on Facebook.
The key driver for a high conversion rate for display ads? I'm sorry, Christine,
Um,
broke up.
the question is, what is a key driver for high conversion rate?
Oh,
Yeah.
Content.
Yeah.
Content is part of the key driver. It's not so much necessarily, it's content and audience alignment. So, where you choose to place, which part you, ad placement you have, there's 15 different types of ad placements. I anticipate that Facebook's going to come out with a new ad placement type probably every 3 to 4 months this year due to the increased user volume. And so
Yeah.
really what really drives the conversion is the correct alignment with placement and targeting, but the content and the ease of conversion. So, it's a yin and a yang. You have to have the right technical alignment and deployment to support the content, and then have the right content in stream. And then additionally, I think one thing that's really key that we see all the time is, the right ability to convert, the ease of conversion. If you are sending someone off the platform to your site, if your site's not mobile friendly, regardless of the amount of traffic you generate, you're going to see a lower conversion rate. So I think it's content and the ease to convert. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, user experience and content. And Crystalline, we recently did an interesting test with creative, and we found on Facebook that people win.
Mm-hmm. People win, absolutely. We did an interesting test of doing an infographic, of doing a static ad and a video ad, and the test was actually the audience that's sitting in front of us today. We tested the webinar with 2 different types of ad types. We like to, at Mower, test things internally and make recommendations to our clients from what we see from our own expenditures. So what we found is that when we had a video ad in stream that wasn't just a video, because we had an animated GIF before, but we had Matt talking, people connect with people. So keep in mind that, when we're on social platforms, utilizing that personal connection as much as possible is definitely going to increase your conversion rate.
Yeah, and I think we saw the impact, the video with a person in it, with a subject, low production value. I mean, this lighting or anything like that was 4 to 5 times more effective than the infographic and the animated piece.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So, pretty wild. And I think, for all the industries out there, putting your people out there, getting them familiar, getting them comfortable with the platforms can be a great way of creating content, especially for paid media. So it's worth considering. Yeah.
Okay, last question. It seems perfect. What future social media marketing trends are on the horizon?
Well, I want to say TikTok and Snapchat. I think Snapchat went through some growing pains, and they really refined their ad platform. The cost right now is really low. TikTok it's very, very early, and they really don't have a sophisticated ad platform yet. And the demographic tends to be younger on both of these platforms. TikTok is growing rapidly, and the engagement's really strong. So I expect that to continue to grow. On TikTok right now, the access to their ad platform is gated. So it's kind of a pilot program. But some of the early data that I've seen is suggesting that, like a lot of these social media platforms, if you get in early, there's a chance to reach a lot of people for a low cost. So that's my Snapchat and TikTok plug for the day. Crystalline, what do you think?
I agree, absolutely. I think that TikTok especially has become a cross-platform, medium, because you'll see TikTok videos show up in your Instagram feed and your Facebook stories feed frequently. So the brand is being propelled across multiple platforms, even considered competing platforms. So we're going to see a dramatic uptake on users on that particular platform. And I think the other component is, if we just look at not really the platform, but the new ad types. Again, I go back to 15 different ad types on Facebook and additional ones coming out. If you're doing the same ads in 2020 that you were doing in 2018, you're behind. You need to you need to look at additional ad types to really get the most value for your dollars and really leverage the work the platforms have done to provide these different types of tools for you.
I know, it's crazy. That future is probably only 3 months away, and it's going to shift.
Right.
We recently put this deck together, And I think we presented it like in January. And by the time we took a look again, it already shifted, everything already changed. The ad types that we talked about for Facebook were no longer available. So it's a constantly shifting, evolving space. I think content is really key. And the last thing I'll say about TikTok is, it really, when we're talking about the effectiveness of ads and driving conversion rate, the content that people are looking at is really personality driven. It's authentic, it's high volume, and it has energy and is dynamic. And that's the type of content that you see people really engaging with, particularly on TikTok. So I think it'll work across platforms.
Great.
Absolutely. Don't forget to tune into our content webinar.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Again, our next one is June 10th. So hopefully you're on our email list. If not, you will be if you've attended this last one. So we'll be able to send you the upcoming ones. And we thank you for your time. And thank you, Matt and Crystal, and great content. Thanks, everyone.